Hello, my name's Linda. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator, and today I'm making a project for the Ink.Stamp.Share blog hop that I'm part of. And the theme this month is a colour theme and a new year. So we've got a double whammy. It's new year and colour, and the colours are Berry Burst, So Saffron, Garden Green, Pacific Point, Night of Navy. We don't have to use them all, and I'm not going to use them all. But let me show you what I'm going to make. I'm going to be using the Lily Pad Lake, and that is all the only stamps that I'm using. And I'm using Pacific Point, Night of Navy, and white. I'm assuming we can use white, and I've got a piece of the glossy cardstock here, and that's in white as well. And let me just tell you the measurements. My Pacific Point is 6 by 9 1/4. My glossy paper is 5 5/8 by 3 inches. My Night of Navy is 5 3/4 by 3 1/8. And then I've got this piece of scrap. This is a piece of thick whisper white, but you can use normal whisper white. And let's start. I'm actually going to start with my piece of glossy paper, and because it's going to be a bit messy and I want it to dry. Also, I forgot to tell you, I've got a little calendar because I'm making a calendar, and I've just cut out a piece of Night of Navy cardstock that just fits all the way around, just like this. And it depends on whatever size calendar that you actually get. Okay, so I have my piece of glossy cardstock here. I've put on some little gloves here, just because it is going to be messy, and I don't want to have inky fingers all over my next piece of the project. So we are using the baby wipe swipe technique. So I have a baby wipe here, and I've cut it. So I've actually got 3 pieces because I'm using 3 colours, and I've just cut them and folded them. And then I have my inks here, and I'm just going to dab, and actually no, I'm just going to move this over a little bit. I don't want that on that fold there. Okay, and I'm going to dab into my Night of Navy to start with, so it's quite dark, and then I'm just going to swipe it along. And you can go a few times if you don't want it quite so dark. And then I'm going to go into my Garden Green. Oops. I'm glad I'm wearing gloves because I seem to be making a mess. And I'm going to swipe again. I'm doing a little bit of a wave because I want this to look like the sea. Yeah, it's really hard to do it with these gloves on. I don't usually wear the gloves. I don't mind being inky normally. And I'm going to be using the Pacific Point last. And then I'm going to go back in with my Garden Green. And my Night of Navy. Okay, and now I'm just going to put that to one side and let it dry. So I've just put that inky piece to one side, and I have in my large piece of Pacific Point, and I'm going to have it so it's long ways at the top of my trimmer, and we're going to be scoring. So I'm going to be scoring at 3 3/8, which is here, and I'm going to just move my blade out of the way. With this calendar, let me just do this first. 6 3/4. 7 3/4, 8 3/4. Quite simple, really. There we go. So I've done the scoring, and I'm just telling you that I've cased this calendar from Jan Brown. So not this November, but the November before, I went to Stampin' Up on stage, and I swapped with Jan with this. I haven't taken November off yet, with this fantastic calendar. and so I decided this year I would make one. And so it was just going to do some burnishing. Obviously I'm using a different design. I've just used the bones of her measuring. Okay, so I'm folding and burnishing all of these score lines. And when you get to these little ones, so these two are mountain, this one's a valley, and then that one's a mountain again. And then it goes around like this, so we're going to put the glue on here so it will stick together like that. Okay, isn't that great? Okay, so let's get in some of my other pieces. Let's get my little, this is my little piece of Whisper White. I'm going to come in for this. And I've got my little boats and some Memento black ink. And I need to stamp this twice. And then I'm going to do a tiny bit of colouring. And I have been using, if I can find it, here it is. So I've got my little blender pen here, and I'm going to be using some of the So Saffron. So Saffron was one of the colours, and this is all I have. I don't actually have any paper. I did have some paper, but I've run out, and so I'm using my blender pen, and I'm just going to dip it into my ink and then just do some of the stripes. And then I'm going to use some of my other colours to do a little tiny bit of colouring, and then I'm going to use the framelit to cut these out. So I'm just finishing off here. I'm just using the Pacific Point now just to colour the bottom of the bow and maybe some of the stripes. These are great, these pens, because you can just pick up any colour then. Okay, so when you're finished, just scribble on a piece of scrap paper until it goes clear, and then you can use another colour. But I've actually finished now, so let's put this to one side. So I have my boats. Let's start putting this together. So I'm going to stick my glossy C onto the Night of Navy. And I can't find my glue. Where is it? Here it is. I can't believe we're starting a new year. This year has gone so quickly. My eldest boy actually left school this year. How scary is that? And has started college. So lots of changes. Okay, brilliant. And then I'm going to bring my calendar and I'm going to glue my calendar to my little piece of, I've used Night of Navy. Get that on straight. And then I'm going to glue this onto my first layer. Now you can put your calendar wherever you want to. I'm going to put mine sort of on the left hand side here. Just like this. And then I'm going to bring in some of my dimensionals. And I'm going to pop up some of my little boats. I'm not sure if the big one, would the big one go on the back? Yes, it is. Fits nicely. So I'm just going to decide where I want them. So I've decided where I want them to go, so just fiddle around until you're happy. And I'm just going to pop these on, and then we'll put the base of the calendar together. And this is a great desk calendar. My husband's asked for one for work, and I always make one for myself, for my desk as well. So these will be great gifts for your family and friends or work colleagues. I'm just going to pop the little one up the top there. Okay, and now I'm going to stick it on before I actually stick it together. So the calendar's going to go together like this, so it's better to have the front is the bit that isn't sticking down, so that's going to be my front piece there. I'm going to stick it on there. I did think about doing a white calendar, and I think actually that would have looked quite nice, but I was worried it was going to get too dirty. Here we go. I'm just going to stick this on. And then on this piece I'm going to put some tear and tape, because tear and tape is good and strong. I'm hoping I've got enough here on this reel, because I know that I'm running a bit short. There we go. So peel this backing off. And then shut this down. Give that a nice push. Just get my bone folder in there because we don't want it falling apart. And there we go. It's finished. So it stands up like this. It folds flat so you can stick it in an envelope. And there we go. I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and I do give this technique a try. Don't just need to use it for sea, it would look great as rainbow, whatever sort of background you'd like. You don't have to do it on the glossy paper, you can just do it on the whisper white paper as well. So thanks for watching, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Bye.